All right, so it's April 14th, 2023. How's it? It's it's almost a year, 1 year almost to the day since I up potted these 3-gallon bamboos into these pots, these little barrels. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 combs. Yeah, what is it? 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 8. So we went from 1, which I think was this original one. But yeah, 3-gallon pot. And then now we have 8. So we had 7 combs pop out last year. And over the winter, it kind of stopped shooting. And I'd say it was originally like 8 feet tall. Now the tallest one is probably like maybe like 15 feet. The tallest one. 10, 15 feet, maybe 12, 15 feet, the tallest one. But yeah, I'm gonna pull this out. So I don't know if you remember, but this pot had a bunch of holes on the bottom of it, this barrel. And I'm going to, it's been sitting here for almost a year, so actually a little bit less than a year, because I remember I had it sitting over there for a little bit, then I moved it somewhere over here by this where this umbrella is, and then after that I had moved it over here, and it sat there all basically all the last half of the summer and all winter, and now it's spring, so I'm gonna pull it up, or try to pull it up, and see how much those roots have gone into the ground. All right, wish me luck. Okay, so one thing I forgot to mention is the variety of the bamboo. Forgive my kids, they're just being kids in the backyard. But this is Graceful Bamboo, Bambusa textilis, gracilis. And one thing I noticed about them, see, what I was thinking is that it would kind of go into the ground and it wouldn't need much watering, because it would kind of feed off of, it would go into the ground and kind of feed off of, find its own water, which I think it did for a little bit. But right now, okay, hold on one second, guys. Right now it's just so hot. I think during the winter months it was fine. It was able to find its own water in the ground. But right now it's just so hot. It's showing signs of stress. I mean, some of the leaves are yellowing, and the soil is kind of drier. Got a lot of mulch in here too. So what I'm going to do is repot into a different pot. Now notice I didn't say up pot. I'm not putting it in a bigger pot. I'm just repotting it into a different pot. So these are the same size pots. Only difference, there's only one difference. This one does not have holes in it, okay? Now I know this is going against pretty much everything, everything that I've learned. You know, you gotta have a good drainage, yada, yada, yada. But those bad boys over there, I noticed, I had one experiment, and it was that one right there last year. And that one, I put holes, maybe one hole about a quarter of the way up, maybe a third of the way up. And while that was shooting out last year, and that one did phenomenal. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move this one with the holes at the bottom, move it into another pot, same size, but with no holes. And I'm gonna see how it does. See if because it's hotter, it's drinking more water, and it needs more water. It's gonna be able to hold that water in there, and hopefully it does better this year, but we'll see. You know, bro science. You know, you got to kind of figure things out, experiment, do your own experiments, and see what works and what doesn't. So, but I'm fairly confident this thing is going to do very good in a closed container. Water, I'm going to keep the water line maybe a third or halfway up. I'm not putting any holes in this thing, but we'll see how it does. All right. Okay, just wanted to get a shot of the root ball. One thing I noticed, there is signs of life here at the bottom. A little worm right here. Oh, he just went inside. But yeah, so you can kind of see where the roots kind of went in those the little holes at the bottom, where the little spiraling areas are. I don't know if you guys can see them. And then there were some big holes on the side where it's starting to make its way through the side on the bottom to look for water. But one thing I noticed is that it's fairly dry. I mean, I thought maybe, you know, this mulch would hold water a little better, but I mean, I guess it did. But then again, I know bamboo is these things are very thirsty, so, which is another reason they don't like pots too much. But I just like being able to move them wherever I need them, and also to have them contained so that you know, they don't spread too far out. Even though this is a clumping variety, I do want it to stay about this width wide. And so that one I put into the ground. That's a Graceful Gracilis. But this one here, this is a yes. So this is a sea breeze actually, so it's got a little bit wider. I'm gonna dig that up this year. I don't want that thing getting too big right next to the fence. I know the sea breeze will just knock that fence right over. But I'll probably replace that with a Graceful here. Another thing, sea breeze, their leaves are a little bit shorter and a little bit more broad, a little bit shorter leaves, and then they have this long, you know, stem out. But anyways, and then these ones are a little bit more longer. Graceful has a little bit longer leaves. But anyhow, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm about to put it in here and fill it up with some water. All right, so here's where we're at. About ready to put some water in there. That's another reason I like the white barrels, is because as I put water in it, I can tell where the water line is, and when I start to fill it up, you'll know what I'm talking about. So let's put some water in there. Oh, and another thing, when I repot these into these closed barrels, another thing I like to do is when I'm first filling them up with water, I like to fill them up very slowly. So maybe the first, you know, day, I'll just put maybe a little bit of water in there before I start to fill it, and I'll gradually fill it up. So the reason why I do that is because if there's any like life in there, any bugs or anything, worms, I don't want to drown them. I want them to be able to, you know, get comfortable to where their elevation is. So if I fill it a third or halfway up right off the bat, it'll drown everything that's below that. But if I just put it in gradually, it'll give the worms and the bugs and the other life a chance to move away from the water to where they feel comfortable. So that's why I do that. All right, so it's the next day for this potted Textilis gracilis, Graceful Bamboo. But as you can see, you can kind of see the water line right there. So like I said, this is the next day. Yesterday I had it down just a little bit, like maybe half of that, where the water line is now. And when I came out to water it today, it was all gone. So I know they're drinking water. So right now it's maybe about a quarter of the way up. So if that's the half line, it's about half of half, so about a quarter of the way up. And we'll see how it does tomorrow. But yeah, this is the best way I've found as far as potted, unless you have like a timed irrigation system to where it'll water it, twice a day for like 5-10 minutes. But I don't have that. I figured this is the best way for me to do it. I just fill up, I work it, and plus I can see kind of how much they're drinking every day. If it goes down again all the way down tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll fill it up just a little bit more, until I can kind of see how much they need per day to be able to keep it going. But like I said, it was in the ground. Well, not in the ground, but it was in the pot with holes in it, and the roots were in the ground, and it's showing signs of stress. But another thing too, my sea breeze is showing yellowing leaves, so I don't know if it's just maybe that time of the year. The sun is really strong right now. In fact, all of them got a little bit of yellow leaves, except for this one is in the ground. It's not showing any, but this is all graceful here. But some of them are showing yellow leaves, but this one was the worst. I mean, it's almost looks like it's struggling, but we'll see. It's got a bunch of water now. Now it's in a tub container, so it's got water now. It's got access to water at least. But yeah, those things, especially these two right here on the right, those two sea breeze pots are just slamming down water right now. They're shooting right now too. The one on the right is shooting, and the one on the left hasn't really started shooting yet, but I'm assuming it will start shooting. Oh no, you know what? I'm sorry. Both of them have started shooting already. This one was already kind of done shooting. It's got those long, lanky ones. They're just filling out from the top. But these ones have some shoots coming from the bottom, maybe about 2 or 3 of them. But the other two on the left haven't started shooting yet, and none of these guys have. But anyhow, little side track there. But these tubs, I'm telling you, you're gonna grow bamboo in big pots. This way to do them. No holes. Just keep all the water in there, and preferably if you can get something clear, or you can have some type of device to see what the water level is like every day. But yeah, these things are slamming down water. I think some of the other pots that I have this size, I might put them in larger containers. These are like 15, they're larger than 15 gallons, so I might put them in like a 25 or 30 gallon tub container. But anyhow, all right, keep it going.